Categories of data. Data are categorized according to primary data and secondary data. Let us recall what is data. Data is a collection of facts such as numbers, words, measurements, observations, or just description of things. Now, let us discuss the categories of data. What are primary data? Primary data are data that has been generated by the researcher himself. In gathering primary data, the researcher will physically show himself to the actual respondents and conduct the desired method such as surveys, interviews, experiments, and observations based on the research study. Examples of primary data. 1. Conducting a test to get the performance of the grade 10 students in mathematics. 2. Conducting surveys to know the number of 4-piece recipients in the municipality. 3. Conducting interviews to know the preference of women in different brands of cosmetics. What are secondary data? Secondary data are existing data generated by large government institutions or healthcare facilities as part of organizational record keeping. The data is then extracted from more varied data files. Examples of secondary data. 1. The number of votes for senatorial candidates obtained from the record of the Commission on Election or COMELEC. In this case, we do not engage ourselves to get the votes of these candidates in every place or provinces. We can get directly the record on file from the Commission on Election with their permission. 2. The number of 4-piece recipients obtained from the office of the DSWD. 3. The general average of the students in mathematics obtained from their class advisor. Instead of administering test questionnaires, a researcher will directly go to the advisor and get the average. Now let's compare primary data and secondary data. In terms of their meaning, primary data refers to the first-hand data gathered by the researcher himself. Secondary data means data collected by someone else earlier. Primary data are real-time data, while secondary data are past-time data. Primary data requires more time and effort, while the process of secondary data are quick and easy. In terms of their sources, primary data usually come from surveys, observations, experiments, questionnaires, and personal interviews, while secondary data come from government publications, websites, books, journals, articles, and internal records. Cost effectiveness. Using primary data is expensive. Why expensive? Because as what I have said just a while ago, that you need to engage yourself physically. Therefore, you need a cash for transportation and food. Some research will not be finished in one-shot conduct of the methods used. There are even other studies that a researcher need to stay for months in a certain place. Using secondary data is economical. Economical because it is already gathered by someone else. You are just like a second user of this data. You can just even visit to some websites and you need a few cash on this. Specificity. How specific is the data to a certain study? Using primary data, it is always specific to the researcher's needs, while secondary data, it may or may not be specific to the researcher's need. Collection time. Gathering primary data requires long time, while gathering secondary data requires short time since it is already published data. In terms of accuracy and reliability, primary data are more reliable than secondary data. That's all for categories of data. I guess you already have an idea what data are you going to use when you conduct a research. If you find this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up, click the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to keep updated for my new uploads. Thanks for watching!